Hi, my name is Mike. I'm a professor for social work management, and you are listening to Managing Around, the bi-weekly podcast about social science, culture, and management. Managing Around is part of the Talk About Organizations podcast network, a community resource and discussion platform for key ideas in management and organization studies, which is supported by our listeners.
Human beings are not perfect, nor does every individual possess knowledge of all domains. The same is the case for teachers. Nearly every teacher has experienced it at some time or other. You receive a tricky or unexpected question from a student which you cannot instantly answer. This then leads to the yawning emptiness and the fear of not being taken seriously by the students as the ideal teacher, namely as an ocean of knowledge. But not everything is as bad as it looks like. Feeling stupidity is part of any teaching and research. To clarify this position, we must begin with a little background. This episode will go under the surface of this problem and suggest 4 strategies of being productively stupid in your teaching. Let's start with the importance of stupidity in sciences. In a little-known but inspiring essay in the Journal of Cell Sciences, Martin Schwartz wrote on the importance of stupidity, the so-called essay. His crucial insight from graduate studies was, and I quote from the text, that the scope of things I didn't know wasn't merely vast. It was, for all practical purposes, infinite. End of quote. Doing sciences made him feel stupid. With every discovery and quest for new opportunities, that feeling is a constant companion. That realizing the only way to escape the dilemma is to, and I quote from the text, muddle through as best we can, end of quote. As Schwartz noted, it's the mindset that makes the difference. Firstly, we should raise as much questions and do as much experiments until we get eventually a provisional answer. This is a constant quest for knowledge acquisition. Curiosity is the essence of life. Secondly, we can teach our students to be productively stupid. It is not the feeling of actually being stupid, but the attitude to be ignorant by choice, to focus on the questions of paramount importance, and to be trying it hard again and again, even if we get it wrong in the end. With trial and error, we learn always something new, every time and with every step. Thirdly, students must be aware of the weaknesses and their not knowing, and I quote from the text, partly to see where they need to invest some more effort and partly to see whether the student's knowledge fails at a sufficient high level that they are ready to take on a research project, end of quote. It should be inculcated in their minds that they should acquire maximum knowledge, but that doesn't mean that they should feel inferior if they are less aware of some particular things. In other words, being productively stupid helps both students and teachers to increase deep learning and, in the end, it helps digging away into the unknown. Now we can move on to the 4 strategies of being productively stupid in sciences. So what can we do when we can't answer a question from the students? First, do not fear of looking stupid, but be honest. Students won't think that you are not qualified enough. If you can't answer a question, just say that you don't have an answer yet. You can answer the question in the next class or after some research. Secondly, teachers need to demonstrate that they are exalted learners. Just be productively stupid. If you are asked a question about a field in which you are not an expert, a normal response would be, well, this is a good question, but I don't know the answer yet. Show your students that you are interested in finding an answer together with them. Use your rhetorical skills and redirect the question to the other students and make a learning exercise out of it. Thirdly, try to model stupidity. Search the web or other resources, find relevant articles, etc. Refer to methods of further investigation, for instance, selecting keywords, quoting resources, or use other previously successful strategies. Hopefully, this exercise leads to an answer, but even more interesting is that new and other questions may arise. Show to your students how research works. One question leads to another, and more well-informed questions. Modeling stupidity helps to acquire new knowledge. Fourth and last, visualize the problem. Another important thing is to put the question on the whiteboard and collect all the information necessary so as to comprehend the meaning. These are just 4 helpful strategies. Finally, let me give you some general advice. We can all hear the voice in our ears when we receive a question which we can't answer immediately. But don't listen to that voice and trust yourself. Try to think of the importance of stupidity for any research and teaching, and muddle through as best you can. A teacher's biggest fear can be their best companion. Stupidity shouldn't be considered a weakness of the mind. Stupidity can be considered a dying phoenix that can be reborn from its ashes. It can be made productive by different strategies and by making it even more productive. If you are interested in this topic, I suggest to read the inspiring essay in the Journal of Self Sciences by Martin Schwarz, which is called The Importance of Stupidity. You will find a link to the mentioned text in the show notes. If you experience such situations in your teaching and research, and if you have any comments on this topic, please let me know.
Thank you for listening. Managing Around, the bi-weekly podcast about social science, culture, and management. Managing Around is part of the Talk About Organizations podcast network, a community resource and discussion platform for key ideas in management and organization studies, which is supported by our listeners. If you liked this episode, please leave a review on your favorite podcast website. There's also a link in the show notes. If you've got any thoughts on this episode, or if you've got any idea about new podcast topics or questions you'd like to discuss, send me an audio file or voice note to hi@profmanagement.de. For any non-audio comments, drop a tweet or DM to @profmanagement on Twitter or Instagram, please. For more information, visit my website www.profmanagement.de. Thank you for listening and see you next time.